Hey everybody, hope you're all well. Popped out tonight to do a bit of landscape or seascape photography with my Nikon Z8 because I have hardly used it for that, and it's supposed to be a great camera for that, but I've hardly used it for that since I got it, as I've just been doing wildlife stuff. Anyway, I've come out, as you can see, there's nothing in the sky, so it's a bit of a write-off. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about the new Nikon Z50 Mark II that was announced earlier this week. Now, I'm not sure when the release is, but I think it's fairly soon, and the price looks really, really good. Now, I haven't touched it, I haven't tried it, but I've been reading up on it, I've watched a few reviews, and I do have some opinions about it, namely because I had the Nikon Z50 original one, which I loved. I absolutely loved. That's probably the biggest regret I've ever had, getting rid of that camera. But I knew at the time I wanted to get a full frame Z camera, and the only way I could do it was sell the Nikon Z50. But I enjoyed using that camera so much while I had it. So I know what the camera produces in terms of images. I know some of the features. In fact, I used it a couple of times even for landscape photography from this very beach, because it's got this great thing called time mode, which was the first time I'd kind of used computational features on a camera before I got my OM1. So yeah, I'm very interested in this camera. And I've read a lot of people's comments online on forums and the such about what they think about it. Some people think it's a miss, some people think it's a hit, some people think it's a minor upgrade. I personally think it's a huge upgrade. And of course, as I said, I haven't used it, but to be able to get the same autofocus as the Z9 or Z8 into that tiny camera, that sounds really exciting for me. I actually really enjoyed using that camera for bird photography. A lot of people will tell you it's no good. I personally really liked it. It's not perfect for birds in flight. There was a lag with the blackout, but the focus I always found was pretty good, much better than a lot of people thought. You know, for static birds or non-in-flight birds, it was a great camera because images were so nice. I think it's the same sensor that was in the D500. If anyone who's used the D500 knows, the images cut out of that camera were absolutely fantastic. And it's the same with the Z50. So I'm really interested. You're going to twin the amazing image quality with the improved autofocus. And of course you're at a crop, so you're getting that extra reach. You're getting a lot of megapixels on the bird. For me, 20 megapixels is absolutely fine. I had no complaints when I used the original Z50. I have no complaints with my OM1. 20 megapixels is fine. Do not let anybody else tell you. This one has 45, but I don't really notice much difference because I always try to fill the frame. And if you're filling the frame, it's pixels on the bird. So yes, I think it's a really interesting camera. People talk about the lack of IBIS. Well, on the price that I've seen it on the market, you can't have everything. I didn't miss IBIS when I had the original one. The two kit lenses that it came with, the tiny 16 to 50, I think it was, and the 50 to 250, fantastic lenses as kit lenses go. Yeah, I think it looks like a really interesting camera. It's got that new XP processor, which, you know, does wonders on the Z8. So if that can bring the best out of the Z50, I think for the price I've seen it, that looks a really, really good option. Now, as I'm not going to be able to get any shots here because it's a wash, there is a bit of sky cover, so I'll see if I'll get something, but it's going to be some kind of ethereal, arty picture because there's not really much wave action. So I'll try and slow down the shutter speed and see if that works. But what I'll do is I'm going to include a few bird photos I took with the Z50. I did a video before actually about the Z50 for bird photography, so you can check that out. I'll put a link somewhere. But yeah, I think it looks a pretty compelling upgrade. I really loved the camera. If I was rich, I would get it. I would absolutely get it, but I can't. I bought this a few months ago. I won't be getting any new cameras for a long time. But if I was a Nikon Z8 or Z9 user and I was rich and I had the money for an extra camera, I think that'd be a lovely little backup. Great for family and kids pictures because it was so small and light, amazing image quality, and with that improved autofocus, I think that camera is going to be a winner. I'd love to try it one day. Anyway, those are my thoughts as someone who used the Z50 for about 2 years, almost purely for bird photography. For me, it was a hit, and the improvements that have been made for the Mark II is only going to make it better. So I would say, without trying it, it's a hit. If I had the money, I'd get it. Anyway, that's about it today. I'll stick around for a bit longer, see if the clouds change, see if there's any options for a photo, but if not, I'll just add some pictures of the Z50. And if you're thinking about the Mark II, I would seriously consider it. Maybe wait for a few more reviews from actual specific wildlife photographers, but for me, I loved the original. Anyway, take care and see you on the next one. Thanks so much.